He went to have the surgery, went through chemo and radiation. At the same time, he couldn't work anymore because he could no longer lift his arm. I lost my job and had to move back home to New Jersey, so I wasn't there for all the chemos and the radiation. So it was a hard effort to try and educate and get him to do the right thing when we had nowhere to turn.
And he did succumb to the illness?
Yes. In June of 2007, he passed away. They told him in January of that year that he was cancer-free, and we got engaged, and within a few months he kept complaining that, you know, he still wasn't feeling well. The cancer came back as a tumor on the outside of his body, on his left side. So at that point he could no longer sleep on his left side. He couldn't sleep on the right side because the tumor was so heavy. The fluids had begun to back up in his arm because there were no lymph nodes in there for it to drain out. And they were telling him he had to go into hospice.
And he refused the hospice.
He refused the hospice. He said he wanted to be home and that he felt hospice was a death sentence for him.
And it was, as I understand it, very painful for him.
It was extremely painful. Lynn, I remember getting the phone calls at 2, 3 in the morning of him crying and about how much pain he was in, how just he couldn't change the bandages himself anymore, and that he was just bleeding from the tumor and that everything hurt. They had him on all types of medication, including blood thinners, because they told him he had a blood clot. Went to another hospital, they told him no blood clot.
A lot of misinformation and, like Allison, some misdiagnosis to begin with, which is one of the reasons that we wanted to shed the light on these individual stories so that you might take the information that they're sharing with you today, kind of store it where you need to, and if you ever need it, bring it out and use it. You said something very disturbing and yet compelling to me. You said you never even did the breast exams yourself, even though there was breast cancer in your family. You mentioned your grandmother and your great-grandmother. Did you think because you were young that it's an old woman's disease, or that it just wasn't going to strike you, or had no one ever taught you how to do a self-exam or talked to you about it? Why didn't you do it?
I think I was just being ignorant about it. I have the breast cancer thing in the shower in order to teach you how to do it. I've gone to the doctors. I just didn't believe that it could happen to me, you know. And like you said, yes, it was an older person's disease. Both of my great-grandmother and grandmother were well into their 60s when they were diagnosed.
And Kim and I are both like this, going, yeah, that's not so old, sweetheart. It's looking better all the time.
But at that age, when they both passed, I was in my teens, early 20s, so I didn't do it. But when James got it, it set off that light bulb that it could happen to anyone at any time, and as we know, at any age.
Are you finding that it is helping with your grief to talk to others and to perhaps educate men who otherwise think, that's never going to happen to me?
It's helping a great deal because for the past 2 years I didn't talk about it. After it happened, I kind of bottled it up inside, and now I can be a comfort to others. My team captain for the breast cancer 3-day was diagnosed with breast cancer as well, and her sister just happens to be a close friend of mine, so I was able to be her support system, and I can go out there and educate and say, let's look up this information now. So,
and you'll be walking as well,
yes,
as you mentioned.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I just heard her use a term, Allison and Kim, that I want you to react to, and that is support system. How important is it for women or men who are diagnosed with breast cancer to have that kind of support?
It's so important. I don't think I would be where I am right now if I didn't have the support system I had. And I'm sure you both feel the same way. I mean, it helps you get through the days. And some of those days, like Kim had said, you just want to cry and you don't know how to deal with it. But it's because of the people that are in your life that you can get through it. And you can, you have those family or those friends that help you along those really rough patches and then are there for you during those great happy times too.
Yeah, and it was the same for me. I mean, family, a wonderful husband, wonderful, wonderful friends and family, and just talking about it. You know, I didn't keep a lot of it in. I reached out because I was so scared and I was so sad. So, but they got me through it. And to this day, they still get you through.
And I would bet that James's family probably didn't know what to do because it was virtually unheard of for a man to have breast cancer.
Right, it was. We still scramble with that, like, what do we do? You know, where do we go? But it caused me personally to become a better person because I was able to listen to him. It actually helped me open up my heart and, you know, my ears and, you know, become educated and learn more about this to be able to be out there for other people.
So the thing that we're trying to accomplish here on this special edition of It's Your Call is threefold. Number one, listening to Allison's story, is that it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 24 years old and still be diagnosed and still be a victim. So that's one thing. You can be a busy woman, a mom, a family member, a career woman, and miss those mammograms and end up with cancer. Or you could have a man in your life who is diagnosed with it and you have no idea where to go or what to do. So what we're trying to do is shed some light on all of that. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys shared those three very, very compelling stories. Kieran, you're going to walk with us again this year?
Yes.
Well, for the first time, walk with me again, but you want to do this in James's memory?
Yes, I'm doing it for him, and I'm doing it for any other person, male or female, that doesn't know where to go, where to look in order to get, you know, the options and what to do about breast cancer.
All right, well, ladies, I will see you on the walk, and wish you luck with your training, and thank you so much for not only participating but for telling your stories, because I know that we've done a lot of good here. Allison, thank you very much, and to all of your students at your school, thanks for their help in putting out that fabulous amount of money. And if you'd like to help us, the Team Fellowship team or the Lynn Doyle team, you can go to the3day.org, put in my name, and it'll take you to our website. And we hope that we see you out there on the walk this October. Until the next time, my thanks to my crew and to you for watching.